I first met Caleb, I thought that he was gay. His mannerisms were quite effeminate, if I may, and through conversing with him, actually, he convinced me otherwise because he kept talking about these girlfriends that he had. But I think back in the back of my mind, I always thought that Caleb was off limits, simply because I was convinced, even if he didn't think so, that he was gay.
I met Barry about 5 years ago, and I just decided that I'd like to take some dancing lessons.
That was quicker than what we thought. That was actually almost like a really...
He has many interests that coincide with mine. He's interested in my clothes and my hair, and in fact, when we went to Calgary, he was combing my hair for me every day so that I didn't have to do it up at night.
I met Barry while he was touring Hong Kong, and that was back in the mountain 90. I took a few lessons from him then, and that's how we met.
I think our friendship basically has kept strong through, we have a sense of humor, we enjoy life, and we have a respect for each other, I think. I don't know, that's, you know. Yeah, fair enough?
Agreed.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
good.
He's very caring and very sweet. And can be nasty once in a while. Nasty in a humorous way. He likes to play.
I don't think we share any interest in particular besides dance, do we? Oh, the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, dogs.
We talk about dogs.
Really never left him alone. Even if I go to the store for 5 minutes, he goes with me.
It's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I should have been training him to, you know, to stay at home alone sometimes. I have to start doing that, because if I leave him alone, he howls. Tried it a couple of times and it just didn't work. So, but I did it at Dory's place, so my neighbors wouldn't complain.
I'm an official babysitter.
I was never romantically interested in Celine per se. I thought she was very beautiful. I think at that point I had gone to the point where I had stopped developing crushes on women because I figured out that that really wasn't my thing. Let's see.
Okay, so tell me about this guy.
Mark?
Yes.
What about him?
Where'd you meet?
Well,
Are you dating?
well, you must have heard how we met, because I must have given you the whole Trevor Mark thing, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
This is the same Mark, the one who was in Greece at the
Oh,
time,
okay.
and I broke up with,
Okay.
which I did break up with, but and he was like fine with that, like the breaking up. I mean, he was disappointed and stuff, but he understood it.
Mm-hmm.
But then he just like, we saw each other at Victoria Pride, and I stayed at his place. The ultimate downfall. She always made reference to the fact that she was completely okay with people being gay or lesbian or bisexual. And it was sort of odd because I'd never really had anyone in my life go out of their way to actually say that they were okay with that. And I think it might have been her way of trying to help me out, suspecting that I was gay.
He and I have never been intimate other than hugs and kisses.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not to say that we're not intimate in sharing our feelings.
Right.
And everything I know, Caleb knows. Everything Caleb knows, I know. Which is a really interesting relationship dynamic to be in.
But the first time I went over to Celine's house, she took me to her bedroom, which was quite large because her sister had left home and they'd sort of knocked out the wall, and so she had a large bedroom and stuff. And she turned down the lights and started lighting candles. And to me, this signaled like a seduction attempt or something like that. And I had had no experience with anybody, men or women or anybody at that point. And so I was like, oh, what should I do now? How do I let her know that I'm not really interested, or am I interested, or is she interested? And I was very, very sort of, looking back on it now, it's very, very funny, but at the time it was very, very sort of confusing.
I've never felt any sort of romantic feelings because he's young enough to be my son. His mother was born the same year I was. I have a feeling that the relationship for him might be mother and son.
I remember phoning home and deciding I should tell my mother that I was gay. Her response was simply that, "Oh, Barry, you bloody fool, I've always known you were gay. I knew that since you were 6. And I said, "Oh, really?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "But I don't really believe you're gay." She said, "I actually think you're bisexual." But that was, but it was completely accepted, and I never had a problem coming out.
When I was first getting to know Caleb, he tended to be very sarcastic. So I confronted him about it, and I said, if you're not willing to change this aspect of your personality, I'm not willing to have a friendship with you. I think I was that blunt with him. And I think he really made an effort, and sometimes I have to remind him, but not recently.
No.
I did remind him a couple of times, and I think part of the process for Caleb was coming out and realizing who he is. And once he started becoming much more comfortable with who he is, that eliminated the necessity to put down others, which was an interesting growing up phase for him. But
thank you, Mom. One thing that I have in common with her that I don't with many of my other friends is that she has a lot of issues with her father and how her father treated her growing up. And so do I. So sometimes we have entire bitch fests about like, oh, my father did this, can you believe it? And she's like, well, no, let me top that, my father did that. And sometimes we just sit there sort of on the phone and just look at each other and go, I can't believe we got treated that way, isn't that awful? And so we both are there to support each other through our issues.
my boyfriend John understands the dynamics of my friendship with Caleb. I've been friends with Caleb much longer than I've known John. In fact, I'm divorced, and Caleb was my attendant at my wedding. And I didn't have bridesmaids. I actually had Caleb.
It didn't bother me that he was gay. It seemed, so he's gay or straight, I liked him.
Yeah, my ups and downs. I can talk to him about if I'm feeling very down, I can call him and he'll be there. He promised.
I don't know, it's been an interesting life. You know, you hear people say that if they popped off tomorrow, they wouldn't regret it because their life has been full. I feel mine's been full, and if that happened, it would be a pity. I mean, there's a lot more I'd like to do and what have you, but I couldn't complain about the life I've had and the fun I've had in life. I've had a great deal of fun. Met some wonderful friends.
I think I have a very close relationship with Caleb because he is gay. The dynamics between male and female friendships sometimes can be closer than female-female friendships when you take the sexual attention away. And I think this is what I have found with Caleb.